lot of things that on the schedule to record. So last week I really wanted to give everybody kind of like a distraction-free zone to reflect on their thoughts and their opinions and everything going on. There was a lot of things that were really upsetting. There were times when I was kind of sad. There were times that I cried. But there were also some really good things going on that made me laugh, that made me happy. But I just wanted to give everybody just kind of, some time to reflect and not necessarily like try to pay attention to me and everything that I'm saying. So last week was also very busy for me as well too. That wasn't the reason why, but had a wedding that I was the photographer and the videographer for, that I'll kind of be talking a little bit more about that maybe next week or the week after, just kind of the process of going from somewhat amateur to somewhat professional. We'll also kind of be talking about like rates, gear, setup, and everything like that I use and that I have, and what that process was like from talking with the client to the actual day of the wedding and everything like that. It was a really quick day and real quick kind of turnaround time on files and everything like that. I was also on a shoot for a school system. I was able to help them with a video. I was helping a friend that had a video bid with them, so I was his gaffer. So I'll be kind of talking about what it's like being on set and everything that I had to do and what all it kind of takes to get there. But I kind of want to talk about who I am, kind of where I came from, where all I've been. I'm an Oklahoman, born and raised in El Reno. It's just a little bit west of Oklahoma City, our capital. For me, photography started in the sense where I am now roughly 3 years ago. I was at an internship, and the places that I've worked, let's kind of start there. Out of high school, I kind of worked part-time as an intern for a State Farm agency. From there, I worked at restaurants. I worked at a truck manufacturer in the marketing department as an intern. Worked kind of freelance doing marketing jobs and did some photography and video jobs. Worked for the newspaper, and I worked for Redlands Community College as a marketing specialist and helping them as well with photos and videos. But I remember growing up, and I was in the Boy Scouts. I remember growing up and going out into nature, hiking and things like that with my friends. And my mom got me a Kodak little point and shoot camera. And let me grab that real quick. Okay, so here it is. This is the camera that kind of started it all for me, so to speak, multiple years ago. A little just Kodak point and shoot, 14 megapixel camera, a Easy Share C183. I think it, my batteries. Pretty sure it still works. I actually carry it with me a couple times just to like have just something easy that I can like put in my pocket, pull out, and just use it. Photos that came out of it were decent at the time for what there was. And I've had that with me in South Carolina, Wisconsin, California, Las Vegas. Took it a lot of different places, and I don't regret not having a different camera at the time. I'm happy that I had it and I was able to record some things, but looking back on those images, I kind of like, man, if I would have like knew what I was doing in photography, or if I would have had a camera with a little bit more capabilities, as far as like manipulating shutter speed. Shutter speed is the one thing that like drives me in my gear purchases and everything like that. After this one, I got a Nikon D40, and I liked it. Really nice camera. It feels different the first time you get a camera that has like an interchangeable lens system. You feel a little more kind of like, okay, I'm a photographer, I can do this now. And, that long ago, it was just like anything felt like a step up from this, although it wasn't really. This little Kodak can almost do more than what the D40 could, but the D40 just felt made me feel more confident in myself. And that's part of your gear too. You know, the gear does matter in the sense that like it can help produce somewhat better qualities. It can help autofocus better. You can get more photos. You can get a sharper photo and things like that. But it's not necessarily like always like the newest and latest gear that makes you who you are. It's about knowing it the best. You know, having something where I could control the shutter speed and the aperture and things like that really helped. And then after that D40, I got a D51. Really happy with Nikon. I'll probably always stay with Nikon. It's something that it just feels right in my hands, and I really enjoy the user interface of it. Then I had that, got that about like 2 or so years ago, probably a little bit more. And then I was happy with it for the longest time, but I just wanted a full frame camera to give me just a little bit more low light capabilities and just a little bit more control in just like settings and things like that. So then I got the D750, love it, and I'm happy with my gear. But I only got this D750 about 6, maybe 8 months ago. But you know, I was getting jobs back whenever I had just gotten the D5100. I didn't have any jobs with like the D40. I mean, like I used it. I wasn't necessarily trying to like make this into a profession or anything like that. And I'm still really not. To me, photography and videography, they're hobbies that I enjoy doing, and it's something that relaxes me. But, you know, some of my first jobs came from me just posting images, and they're like, hey, Nathan, you're a photographer, you got some good photos. Can you come like take some photos of our event for like $50, something like that. And I got a couple of those, and those were really nice. You know, it felt like good to like, man, somebody wants to pay me for this. So those were really nice. After that, I was like, maybe I can start doing something with this. So started getting more gear, and I was buying stuff off of Wish, Amazon, whatever I thought would like make my job just like a microsecond faster or just a little bit better. You know, I was buying like belt accessories to like hook your camera on. I was buying like some cheap microphones. You know, like you gotta understand gear and like how it works and things like that. But you gotta understand that like price and quality they go together. So if you're gonna buy something better, you know, often saving up or really understanding why you need to buy it or why that one's the best. One of the first lenses that I bought was a Nikon 24mm prime Nikkor 24mm prime lens, AIS. Manual focus, and I had no idea that it was manual focus. I had no idea really what manual focus was. It was just a cheap lens, and I wanted to buy it. I heard primes were good. 24 sounded pretty wide. I went for it, and this is back whenever I had the D5100. So it comes in, I'm like, oh geez, like it works, but I mean, didn't really. So I actually still have that lens too. It's not a bad lens, but just like understand why you're buying gear, you know. And I wasn't really quite aware either of the crop factor affecting the focal length of a lens. So honestly, that 24 that I wanted ends up being like 50 almost, 50 prime, you know. And that doesn't really make sense because I had the kit lens on there, and I also had gotten a 50mm prime lens. So I was really just kind of like shooting myself in the foot multiple times over trying to buy gear. And you know, here 3+ years later from me taking those first jobs, I'm just now starting to make better money, but I still haven't quite paid off all the gear that I've invested in. You know, I've kind of tabulated it up roughly, and I've spent close to $5,000 plus on gear and equipment. Now that's been over, that's been over the course of these, you know, 3 to 5 years, but you know, just barely starting to like, okay, now I can like make money. But now it's like, should I like invest in better new gear to try and get more jobs, or should I just try to like keep myself afloat, so to speak? And that's something that I'll be talking about. Hopefully, like I said, like a lot of things on the schedule to video, but just like how to price yourself. Sorry, there's a squirrel. It keeps like hopping over the fence. Anyways, that's one thing I want to talk about is like how to price yourself, you know, because there's a lot of things that go into that, and as far as like how I price myself. Because in the beginning, somebody just offered $50, and it was like, yeah, that sounds great. I'll take it. And the more jobs like that you take, the more people get used to like paying you $50. Because now I'll have people that are like, hey, can you come do this job for me? And I'm like, sure. They're like, $20 sound good? And it's like, honestly, $200 doesn't even sound good. So it depends on the job and everything like that. But there's a lot that goes into that I want to kind of share some of my insights from how I priced myself from the beginning to how I price myself now. One of my first jobs ever, I was shooting a installation video for a company. They were installing some of their products in a warehouse, and the warehouse had no electricity. And here I had just gotten some soft boxes and lights, and I was like, okay, lighting's going to be good. I get there, no electricity. I'm like, I can't plug these in. So I got some like little like battery powered LED, basically like flashlights and work lights that I was having to turn on and set up and just maneuver all around the place to try to light up this video, and I got paid like, I think it was like $125 for that, it wasn't a lot of work. It was just, like I said, a little time lapse. But I mean, there's certain things, like looking back, like I could have done a much better job on that. And maybe that's something that I'll share with you guys, just some of my first works and like gigs that I got paid for and everything like that in a different video. And also, if you guys are curious, episode 2 of Cameras at the Ready, a podcast that I run, is fixing to go live. And if you guys actually want me to be my own guest on a podcast and just answer some of your questions as far as like previous jobs that I have, gear, equipment, accessories, just any kind of questions you want to ask, like what all I like to eat and cook. Like I said, I used to work at a restaurant, so I was like really big on cooking things, making recipes and things like that. Actually, one of the YouTube channels that I tried to start before this one was like trying to rate and evaluate chocolate bars and compare them to each other. And the reason I stopped that one was because I ran out of chocolate bars that I could find easily, and I didn't want to have to order a whole bunch offline. I was like, just call this YouTube channel good and just end it out. So some of those videos might still be out there. The second YouTube channel that I tried to start was more photography based, and I want this one to be photography based, but videography and more printing and comparing photo papers and things like that, and going through there. But anyway, so did freelance for some time, and whenever I went freelance, I kind of wanted to make it myself, but I was a little scared at the same time because I was still going to college, a lot of tuition to pay. I printed off 100 resumes, and I went to every business in my hometown, and I knocked on their door, went inside, handed them my resume. I said, hey, I've got marketing skills, I got photography skills, videography skills. Can I help your business? Can I shoot a video for you? Can I do some advertising for you through some of the social media networks? I can help set up your accounts and help run them for you. Things like that. And that led to some of my first jobs, and I had some regular clients that were paying me to come in and help them with social media. And that transitioned into other jobs, and that kind of ultimately led me to where I'm currently working at. But it's a huge, long process that I hope everybody, realizes that this might just be a stepping stone as far as, man, this isn't the gear that I want, this isn't the job or the clients that I want, but it might just be a good stepping stone to get you to where you want to be. So I'm titling this episode, Who Am I? And I kind of wanted it to be about that. I kind of got derailed in the beginning. So my name is Nathaniel Bench. Some people call me Nathan. Some people that are close to me. Got a couple other nicknames out there like Nene from cousins and things like that. I'm born and raised here in Oklahoma. Youngest of 8, graduated from El Reno, and then I recently got my bachelor's degree from Southwestern Oklahoma State University. I am a lot of different races and ethnicities and things like that, so what's happening right now is hitting me on multiple different fronts. It's a really confusing time. It's also really it's a really, I don't want to say it's a dark time in our history and everything like that, because I'm not sure how it's going to end up or where it's going to go from here, but definitely this is something that I think, whenever I reflect back on in a decade, or, whenever I'm 90 or something like that, it will be some hard times, or not even hard, nothing really bad has happened to me, and I've been really thankful for that. I've been able to keep my job, and I've been having some gigs pop up here and there. I had 2 or 3 gigs canceled that I was going to be getting paid for, and that was kind of hard during all of this. So I am a photographer. I shoot on Nikon. I do videos as well. I do some, I don't want to say professional work, but I do like some contract on like some gigs and things like that for some organizations, people, businesses. I do printing now, really into coins and currency collecting and things like that. I'm a Boy Scout. I got my Eagle Scout back in 2016, a long time ago. I was my senior class president, got my degree in business marketing. I'm a huge tennis fan. What else about me? I do like cooking and things like that. Love pizza, Italian food in general. If you guys are curious, like I said, about anything else, like I said, leave a comment or find me over my podcast and write in a question. I'll try and get it answered in a separate podcast episode. But that's it for now. I will see you guys later this week. Bye.